Tonight, we'll take a closer look at a lawsuit involving WSU.
We'll find out more about Nike McClure's decision to take a break from Wazoo basketball.
And the founder of the No. 3 Memorial Fund joins us in studio to talk about suicide awareness events in Pullman. Murrow News 8 starts now. Can I hear myself?
From Studio B on the campus of Washington State University, this is Pullman's only nightly newscast. This is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Charlie Nelson.
And I'm Jesse Maywald. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
Activists plan to march against gun violence and in support of increased school safety tomorrow. After hundreds of individuals protest by students in the past weeks, the nationwide March for Our Lives takes place tomorrow in Washington, D.C. In addition to the protesting capital, over 800 events across the world will take place in support of the March for Our Lives. The movement began after the Parkland school shooting in February when 17 people lost their lives after a former student went on a school shooting spree at the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. The Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport just opened a new baggage claim center in an attempt to better address the needs of both communities. Daryl Bivens is outside the airport to tell us more about the motive behind its construction. Daryl?
Well, I'm standing out in front of the baggage claim center here at the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport right now. Now, this center is meant to help address some of the ever-growing traffic that the airport is receiving on a regular basis. Even Executive Director Tony Bean says that the airport was originally 5 times too small to accurately meet its demands that it was receiving.
So, Daryl, are there even more future plans to increase the size of the airport?
Actually, yes. There are some more changes being made for the future of the airport. Bean says that the airport wants to add an entirely new terminal in order to meet some of the demands that the runway project is creating. However, construction of the new terminal might not even begin until 5 years from now. Reporting live from Murrow News 8 of the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport, I'm Daryl Bivens.
This Saturday, Pullman kids will get the chance to learn and have fun at the Free Plant Science Day hosted by WSU's Molecular Plant Science Graduate Student Organization. Hands-on activities will include liquid nitrogen ice cream and DNA extraction from plants. Plant Science Day is from 11 to 2:30 in the Vogel Plant Science Building. Earlier this week, we introduced WSU's countersuit against a biotechnology company for breaching a research contract with WSU regarding the Cosmic Crisp apple. Brooke Wolford dug deeper to find the root of the issue.
Washington State University announced last week that it will countersue Phytelligence, an agricultural biotechnology company, for breach of contract and to protect WSU's intellectual property, the Cosmic Crisp apple. The suit comes in response to legal action Phytelligence brought against the university earlier this year. Phytelligence CEO Ken Hunt claims the university made it unnecessarily difficult to license the apples.
Part of the agreement said that they could propagate or grow as many trees as they wanted to, but they couldn't sell them unless they received a license to actually sell them. Washington State learned that they actually sold 135,000 trees to a grower here in the state, and they did not acquire that license.
The university began developing the apples in 1994 and restricted the growth and sale to only Washington State growers.
Washington State is known for its orchards, but the Cosmic Crisp will actually be the first apple created in Washington. And Washington State University has partnered with growers across the state to make the Cosmic Crisp apple more appetizing than any other.
They've been bred not just to produce well in Washington, but to delight the consumer, principally through really good texture, really good eating experience, sweetness, juiciness, and they also store for quite a long time, so they maintain their quality for much longer than the commercially available apples right now.
The case will go to court in February 2019. Brooke Wolford, Murrow News 8.
Pullman's Community Action Center will open Sunday to host their second annual Chef's Challenge. The event will challenge 3 local chefs to compete using ingredients found in the food bank. The winner receives a gold spatula as well as gift cards and appetizers from other local restaurants. The Chef Challenge begins at 5 p.m. and tickets to attend cost $25 at the door.
U.S. Highways I-95 between Pullman and Spokane will see traffic delays as construction projects begin. The Washington Department of Transportation's first project will repair bridges starting Monday. Temporary stoplights will direct one lane of traffic through 3 work zones near Rosalia and Steptoe. Motorists should expect a total delay of up to 20 minutes, and the department expects the project to finish in mid-July.
This week, the kinesiology program, Exercises Medicine, hosted a 5K run to promote physical and mental health. Alex Scully attended to find out what the program stands for.
WSU's Exercises Medicine program held a 5K run for students and staff on campus. The event gave participants a chance to get their mind off of the everyday stressors of life.
It's an endorphin kick at some point, so you get this, high that you can keep going, and it feels great afterwards. So but you kind of have to struggle to get to that point. And so I would definitely say just try to push past the struggle so you can really get the good benefits of it.
While the initiative is new on campus, it has lofty goals, such as improving both the short and long-term health of students on campus.
It's really beneficial for a college student, and it's also vital for college students to create these habits when they're in college, because it's actually been researched that whatever habits you develop in college, you're going to most likely continue those for the rest of your life.
Exercises Medicine has already made a positive impact on the life of its participants.
And there's a large connection between exercise and increased cognitive skills in a lot of different ways. And so when I started to exercise, I noticed a difference in my own life. And I've been able to hold on to that since I was a child all the way into adulthood. And so I can attest personally for myself that it has worked for me.
Alex Scully, Murrow News 8.
Coming up, we sit down with Nike McClure to talk about why she decided to stop playing basketball.
And Shelley Kalitzendorf will join us to talk about mental and health suicide awareness in Pullman when Murrow News 8 continues.
It'll be
Anything hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire. It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah. Hey, Smokey, catch. Oh. My bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Green red hat. Oops. Red shirt, blue shirt, yellow shirt. Oops. Yellow pants, red pants, green pants. Oops.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
WSU basketball player Nike McClure spoke out about mental health in a tweet that went viral this week. Bradley Warren talked with Nike about balancing mental health with being a Division I athlete.
Nike McClure, a former center on the WSU women's basketball team, recently opened up about her experience as a Division I athlete in a thread on Twitter.
Player that I used to play against, Emily Potter at Utah, talked about her feelings over a newspaper article, and it just kind of resonated with me, and I felt like I was in a place where I could reach out to people and just talk about how I feel as a college athlete, dealing with all the stuff that I've had to deal with. So I just don't feel like I'm me as a player anymore. I mean, I'm not happy with basketball. Like I know a lot of people will be like, if you're not happy with it, why don't you quit? And it's like, well, I can't quit. I mean, I've loved the game. I've always loved the game. It's just not fun to me at this point. Fans on other teams, a lot of people don't take into account that you have to deal with fans on other teams through like social media. That's a big aspect of like today, is that you not only get yelled at like games now, you can go home and get basically yelled at through your phone if you choose to look at it, which, I mean, obviously I probably shouldn't look at those tweets or let it bother me, but it does. I mean, I think people lie when they say that stuff like that doesn't bother them.
Nike's decision to release these tweets has sparked a lot of conversation on campus about mental health and athletes. I spoke with Renee Coleman-Mitchell, the director of health and wellness here at Washington State University, and she says Nike's experience is not unique.
Being an athlete, you are seen on this throne of being hard and handling everything that comes at you. And that may be so well on the court or on the field, but and ironically, these are still the same young adults going through the same emotional, physical, mental issues. And this is in articles and data that shows that there's about good 4 or 5 factors that play into it. So they may not be aware of it, they may be embarrassed in the stigma that's attached, or they may not even want to surface it because of the pressures by them being an athlete, by their parents and their family and their friends, and being in a Division I school system. It's huge in terms of the lights and the glamour, but at the same time, these are still human beings.
At the end of our interview, I asked her if she could go back in time and advise her younger self to do anything differently. Would she?
But yeah, I tell Senior Nike to do it all basically almost the same, because I mean, you're who you are because of it. I feel like I like the person I am today.
Nike hopes to play one more year of college basketball elsewhere before moving on to the professional court. I'm Bradley Warren, Murrow News 8.
Nike isn't the first athlete at WSU to experience symptoms of depression. Following the Tyler Helinski tragedy, a community member formed an organization to help raise awareness about suicide prevention. And she joins us tonight, along with Casey Shainline. Casey?
Thanks, Charlie. Tonight, Shelley Kalissendorf joins us to talk about her efforts as the head of the No. 3 Memorial Fund. Shelley, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm glad you're here. So, as we know with Tyler and as we saw with Nike, athletes face a lot of mental health issues. What are some of the things that athletes and any student faces that makes them deal with this issue?
Well, you know, all of us, mental health issues are far more prevalent and common than most people realize, I think, whether they be students or athletes or anybody else. You know, and there's a number of different things that can factor into it. Part of it frequently is environmental. So for college students and athletes, I'm sure that they have a great deal of pressure. Trying to juggle, I mean, just as a full-time student, even if you're not an athlete, trying to juggle your class load, and then also having all the practices and whatnot on top. I don't know how they do it. It's a lot to manage.
Well, it seems like you've taken it upon yourself to kind of address these issues, and with the No. 3 Memorial Fund, what have you been doing and what do you hope to achieve with this?
Well, you know, the day on the 16th of January when I found out about the tragic loss of Tyler, I was in shock like I think everybody else was. And then the next morning when I woke up, I thought, you know what? I think there's something that should be done about this. Somebody needs to speak out in our community and get people talking about suicide prevention and reducing the stigma associated with mental illness. Somebody needed to try to turn up the volume and get us talking about it more, because I really believe that helps reduce that stigma and when we can have open and frank discussions about it.
Absolutely. And what are some of the events that have been successful so far in your campaign?
Well, our first event was called Dine Out for No. 3, and that was back in February, and we had 21 different Pullman businesses participate, mostly restaurants, coffee shops, and bars. And so far we have about $4,000 in the bank from that single day event, which is a pleasant surprise. I really had no idea what to expect from that. And then we've spent part of the money helping to promote the Hope is Here event that happened a few weeks ago up at Beasley Coliseum, trying to drive people to that, because the more that we can have community events and get people talking about these issues, the more that we're going to reduce the stigma.
Absolutely. And can you tell us about the upcoming events that our viewers can mark in their calendar and how we can get involved?
Sure. Yeah, we've got two really terrific events coming up in April here in Pullman. One is the Live, Love, Life concert, which is being organized by some students that are sports management majors. And that's going to be up at the Cougar Ridge Apartments on the lawn, which is on Terraview Drive right across from the Coug Mart. And there's going to be I guess quite an amazing lineup of hip-hop artists and food vendors, and my organization is going to be there doing outreach and providing materials to people. And then on the 21st of April, we're having the mental health first aid event up at the Pullman Regional Hospital. And it's kind of like CPR for people who are experiencing a mental health crisis. So if you've ever taken a CPR class, you hope that you'll never have to use it. But if you do learn how to administer CPR, then you have an idea on how to help people who are having that kind of a crisis. So this is for people with a mental health crisis.
Okay, well that's great. Well, we will look forward to those events. Thank you so much for joining us.
Sure.
So on the way, an update on the standoff at Gonzaga University. Murrow News 8 continues in just a moment.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Only you can prevent wildfires.
For all the papas out there, let's stop what we're doing and take a moment. A moment to be with our kids. They can be loud moments, goofy moments, sporty moments, dorky moments, kooky moments. Moments where we talk or walk or just hang out. It doesn't really matter. They all count, because every time dads take a moment to be with their kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's all take a moment to make a moment today.
Being prepared is a part of who you are, but it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you'll go in an emergency. Build a kit with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
What to expect when you're expecting
Like here.
a teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to team-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys, preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for them. You don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
A SWAT standoff in Spokane finally came to an end yesterday after 5 hours. SWAT responded to a call on Thursday from a woman who told police that her brother had a gun and she felt unsafe. SPD say that the man violated a domestic abuse order. Police did not find the man and the case is ongoing. A former Seattle police officer, Alex Chapacki, will spend 6 years in prison for his role in marijuana smuggling ring. Chapacki took multiple trips carrying hundreds of pounds of marijuana in his van from Seattle to Baltimore while carrying his police gun and badge. He pleaded guilty to conspiracy to distribute marijuana and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Usually when you rent a car, you expect the trip to last more than 4 hours. But early yesterday morning, Washington State Patrol responded to a crash on I-5 near Olive Way in Seattle. When they arrived, they found a rented McLaren had ping-ponged across the freeway. The man crashed his rental due to driving too fast for the wet road conditions. Luckily, the crash didn't cause any injuries.
In response to the police killing of an unarmed man, protesters stopped people from entering a Sacramento Kings NBA game last night. Officers killed 22-year-old Stephen Clark after mistaking his cell phone for a gun in his grandparents' backyard. Police fired over 20 shots at Clark, and officials placed 2 officers on leave. Protesters shut down a highway before gathering in front of the Golden One Center, where the Kings play their home games, forcing the organization to stop allowing fans to enter the arena. Kings owner Vivek Ranadive spoke in support of the right to protest.
On the way, Brooke Wolford gives us her weekend forecast.
And later, we talk college sports. We'll be right back.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did cats go on vacation? New York.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90-mile-per-hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
We've seen almost everything this week in terms of weather. Brooke Wolford tells us what we can expect for this weekend and next week. Brooke?
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, so I hope you guys came out prepared today because you're going to see a little bit of everything all in one day. So this morning I walked outside and saw lots of sunshine, was super excited, grabbed my sunglasses, but luckily I also grabbed my coat because it will start raining, and later into the evening we're even going to see a little bit of snow. Luckily we are going to see the high at 47, so that's nice for, you know, maintaining your jacket. You can have a light one. But then if we go ahead and move into tomorrow, we will actually see some of that snow carry on into the morning. And then once you get into a little bit into the afternoon, it will warm up a little bit, luckily for those of you who are going to go over to Moscow and do that March for Our Lives. And then it will cool down again in the evening. It's going to stay consistently cloudy throughout the day, so make sure you prepare for that. And then when we move on to the 5-day forecast, moving into the weekend, we will see that it does start warming up after this weekend, but I'm sorry to say, Charlie, we won't see any sun. And moving into April, we will continue to heat up. So yeah, that's all I have for weather today. Back to you guys.
After the break, Kiwi Hug joins us with NCAA tournament updates.
We'll be right back.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So How does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be earthquake next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So,
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Another chapter in the Mike Leach to Tennessee saga has newly released messages suggest Leach would have taken the job if offered. Emails between University of Tennessee football coaches and administrators claim Leach would take the position if the school decided to extend the offer. However, Chancellor Beverly Davenport asked Athletic Director John Curry and others to not interview any new candidates, including Leach. Because of plans to hire a different candidate at the same time, Tennessee fired their AD, Leach extended his contract with WSU, and the Volunteers ended up hiring former Alabama defensive coordinator Jeremy Pruitt. There was no shortage of drama during the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament, starting with Gonzaga taking on Florida State with Killian Tilly. For early on, Josh Perkins breaks down the three to give the Zags an early lead. Rough night shooting. Later in the first, C.J. Walker laces that one from deep and gives Florida State a lead. He had 3 of those for the game. As they kept going, Brandon Allen gets a pass, moves over his way, hits the floater, gives the Florida a 9-point lead. Late in the second half, and goes down, nasty one, hand jam. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Oh, plays the lead against the Dam, heading to face the winner of Michigan and Texas A&M. On to sister team Jean's team, Loyola Chicago, in the Sweet 16 for the first time since 1985. They took on the 7th seed Nevada. Start the break with Cody Martin, who, whoa, look out, put the Wolfpack up 5 with that nice one-handed slam. And after leading by 1, Marquise Towns, can it be? You better believe it. Loyola Chicago defeats Nevada 69-68, and sister Jean Rambler, who couldn't beat Patrick Ewing in 1985, find a way this time. And that's it. That was awesome. Great Cinderella story for the NCAA for NCAA. Now on to the Kansas State, taking on the Blue Blood Wildcats from Kentucky. Game held tight onto the waning moments till Barry Brown Jr. dances his way to the rack into a mystery how he could ignore that Kentucky defense to give Kansas State the lead with 1 stop to make. Last chance for Kentucky, send it to overtime, and a little too strong. Kansas State knocks off Coach Calipari's Wildcats 61-58. They will face Loyola Chicago next. Wrapping up the day, Texas A&M knocked off North Carolina last round, but they face another tough test against Michigan. Late in the first half, Muhammad Ali Rahman drills the open 3-pointer. Michigan hit almost 60% of their threes and got out a big lead early. Later, they got full globetrotter as Morton Vairvog bangs home the fast break jam. Michigan rolls past Texas A&M into the Elite 8, winning 99-72.
Oh, cool. Big week for basketball.
It was awesome. Loyola Chicago, first time they went since 1963.
I remember seeing a stat that only 300 people out of all the brackets made had the correct people in the final 8. So it's pretty remarkable how they did that.
Well, thank you for watching. Join us every weeknight at 7 and 10 for Pullman's only nightly newscast.
Have a great weekend, and don't forget to follow Murrow News 8 on Facebook and Twitter.
Good night, Pullman.
Go Cougs!
Well, I'm really hoping that